everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we are doing a story time. I haven't done a story time in my channel in a while. I think the last one that I did, sorry, that's the air conditioner. I think the last story time that I did was about my neighbor who called me, see you next Tuesday. So I have an amazing story time, but before we get started, please be sure to hit the subscribe button, ring the bell to be notified of all my future videos, and let's go ahead and get started. So my story time has to do with me and Sean's recent move. So if you're new to my channel, Sean is my boyfriend. He's been on my channel several times. So we moved October 1st, not into a house, which is what I would have loved to do, but we moved into a new apartment complex. Our old apartment complex was just frustrating with the stuff going on in the neighborhood in regards to like drugs and people stealing our packages and the noise and maintenance just being terrible at like helping with problems. We just had leaks, we had a fly issue. It was just so many issues, and I definitely wanted we both wanted a change of scenery. Like, it's absolutely bullshit when you're living somewhere and it's like every other day shit breaks, or you open the door and you smell like weed, and like it's just annoying. Me and Sean, you know, we made the decision, you know, that we definitely wanted to move. So we found this nice apartment complex, like literally 10 minutes away, but I do like it. It's by like the main kind of highway, but it's a highway, but it's around a lot of stores. We basically can just come out of our neighborhood and walk right to the gas station. There's like a couple restaurants nearby. It's like completely by all the stores, and it kind of gives it like a city feel, which I actually like. Our goal hopefully is to move to either New York or California soon, and I've talked about that before on my channel, so we were definitely excited. So we had gotten approved back in like April or May of this year, and I was instantly just ready to start packing and start getting shit together to move. October 1st came, and I basically was the one that, it's not that me and Sean are not on the same page, but I, as an independent woman, like to be in charge of a lot of things, just to feel a sense of security that things are done. Not that I don't trust Sean, but he does have ADHD, he does have an issue with memory if I tell him to do something. So I just like to take control of it right then and there when I'm in the moment, when I know what needs to be done. So I made the call to Comcast to make sure that our internet and cable would be canceled on October 1st and transferred over to our new apartment. I called Delmarva to make sure that it was going to be active on the 1st. So was the one that did all that. We also didn't hire movers, and for some odd, naive reason, I just thought like, oh, it's gonna be fine. Like, me and Sean can definitely do this, you know, even though we have like a huge ass king size bed and a couch and all these desks and dressers and parts of the bed frame and all this stuff, like we should be fine. Why was I such an idiot? And I'm still just trying to think back on like why I thought me and him, like I'm not even, yeah, I'm working out and I'm getting more into getting stronger, but your girl is weak as hell. So like, I don't know why I was just like, we could do it. And on top of that, our apartment is down here, right? Like, we were on the first level, and there's like, it's towards the entrance, it faces the entrance, but it's like down a hill. So we have our patio facing out to the entrance and towards the parking lot, but there's like a hill, like if this is our patio, there is a hill up until you can actually get to where that entrance is with the door, and there's one flight of stairs, another flight of stairs, then there's the parking lot. So we had to obviously go up 2 flights of stairs on top of everything else. So no part of me thought like, hey, let's spend the $200 to hire movers. And I think it was because when I moved into that previous apartment that we moved from, me and Sean were not together, and I had two tall, strong friends, male friends, actually come help me. So all I did was just like brought my clothes down, and they were the ones that brought all the furniture. So again, it was just a naive situation. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure why I didn't think it made sense to hire movers. But anyway, October 1st comes. Early bird gets the worm. I want to wake up early, get the truck from U-Haul. Let's just get it going. Let's just move in. I'm ready to do it. Got the keys the day before to the apartment, so that way we actually brought some stuff the night before, a lot of the boxes and stuff. So the morning comes, it's like 6 in the morning, we go pick up the U-Haul truck, we come back, we're getting everything done, all the packing was done, and Sean had this idea to try and to get the U-Haul truck on a day where the grass was very wet. By our patio on the first level, if you go out of the patio into the back of the building, there was actually a huge grass area where we actually would take Papa a lot on walks to use the bathroom. And Sean had this idea and that's another thing, like when you go to the back of this thing, there's like a whole bunch of bushes, a downhill, and then a road. And because we're like our buildings 3 buildings down, you have like the sidewalk that goes all the way past the first 2 buildings, and then a parking lot. So there was no easy way to like get this truck to come like right next to our building. But Sean had this, initially we were just like, okay, we're gonna park it down the hill in the back, and we're just going to carry everything. It's better than going up 2 flights of stairs. However, Sean was like, you know what, I have this idea. Like, we brought the couch over, like we were about to go down this hill, and immediately I'm weak as fuck. Like immediately I'm just like, oh god. Like I'm just breathing like I've never lifted anything in my life. So Sean said, you know what, let's try and get this truck back here. So he comes back here. Now it's a very, very tight space. So he wanted me to kind of direct him on how to because the point was to turn the truck so that way we're able to, the back of the truck backed up to where our patio was, so that way it's easy just to drive out. However, it was a wet day because it had just rained the night before and it was very dewy, so the grass was wet. Now I'm not well versed in I guess common knowledge when it comes to that stuff. I'm very well versed in common knowledge, but I don't think at that moment I thought this is a really heavy truck, really wet grass. It's probably gonna sink, right? No part of me thought that, and clearly no part of Sean thought that, because we were just ready to get this truck just going. So because we had the bushes and because there was another building to our right, this is a large ass freaking U-Haul. I think it was a 15-foot, 17-foot U-Haul. So as he was trying to back it up, he had to keep turning the wheel, and the front of the truck was this close to the building next to us. And then when he tried to back up, there was a whole bunch of bushes. So then the front tire, as he's trying to back up, just kept digging and digging and digging into the grass. So immediately panic sets in, and Sean is the first one to cry wolf, immediately. The second it just looks even a smidgen it's not gonna work, he instantly is oh my god, we're screwed. Oh my god, this isn't gonna work. Where I'm the problem solver, and I'm wait, let's take a step back, let's take a look at it. I always try and stay optimistic even when it doesn't make sense to stay optimistic, but I've just had a time in my life where I was just so negative with everything, and it just made me feel miserable. So I just try and look at things very optimistically. I just really try. And it kept getting stuck. Like, he just kept trying to turn the wheel, and there's like a sidewalk, and then where the tire was stuck. So as he was trying to back the truck up, it kept like hitting the sidewalk, and it was just a nightmare. So immediately the panic was, okay, we didn't get that insurance on the truck, because I'm always the type that doesn't feel like you need the insurance until something fucked up happens, and then I like kick myself. For example, like whenever you buy a new phone and they ask you for that protection plan, and I'm always like, no, I'm being so careful. And then I take it out of the case one day out of like months and months of not doing that, and that one moment the phone happens to fall, the front of the phone cracks, and then I have to pay $100 and some at the eye color place, whatever, to get the screen replaced. So that's just me. Hopefully I will learn one day that the insurance actually makes sense to get, but this day, of course, did not. So we were like, okay. So immediately I almost started crying, because it was a very stressful time anyway, because we're moving. And Sean said, okay, we have some wood. Let's just try and stick the wood under the tire, see if we can get it up. But he was also in a panic, so it's not like he was like calm in saying this. He was just like, we're fucked. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, we're gonna have to call U-Haul and see what we can do. We're probably gonna be paying hundreds of dollars. And mind you, like, we had bills coming up. Like, I allotted extra money for stuff, but I never allotted a couple $100s for stuff. Like, I didn't think this would happen. We get the wood, we try it. It doesn't work, and the back tire ends up getting stuck, and there's just mud flying everywhere. And it got to a point where I'm just sitting there, and then I'm sitting on the couch, it's still in the grass. And, you know, we had like a nosy neighbor that was right by that building that the truck couldn't pass, come out with their dog and like stare and like, oh, you guys okay? And like, nosy, like, you know damn well that you didn't need to come out here and take your dog out right now. But yeah, so I then started crying. I think the panic set in, and I called my dad. Not that my dad could do anything, but I think I called him just in like a venting situation, like, this is what's happened and this really sucks. And because I explained it to my dad, while I was doing that, Sean was calling a tow truck to see if maybe they could come, like, pull it out of the mud. So while we were waiting for that, my dad was like, well, call a tow truck company. If that doesn't work, you're probably gonna have to call 911 to see if they can get fire trucks to come out there and help pull you guys out if the tow truck doesn't work. So tow truck guy came. This guy was like, I don't know if it was an attitude, I don't know what it was. He was like smoking a cigarette. He was just like, yeah, let me, ooh, how'd you get, oh, yeah, I don't think no, Everything we said, it was no. Everything we said, he was shaking his head no. Like, Sean was doing all the talking, I was sitting there crying, trying not to like be over dramatic to this guy that just came. But I turned around and started crying. And he's asking this guy, do you have any suggestions? Like, what do you think we should do? Do you think we should do this? And the guy was like, He was just staring at it the whole time. Like, he didn't even give any suggestions. He barely said anything. And he was like, And Sean was like, okay, can we try this? No, So I'm like, okay. And he was like, well, there's a couple options here. I can either do it for $800. And I'm like, $800? And I understand it's a heavy truck, but like $800 to just like bring it up, yank it out? Because that's all that had to be done. The truck just had to be lifted and pulled forward. And I just found it really hard to believe it was $800 to do that. And he said, or you can call 911, have them bring fire department trucks, but it's going to be hours probably, because they may have to remove all the shrubbery from behind here to get the truck to like come out. So Sean was just like, all right, that's fine. We'll go ahead and do it. You know, if we get fined, you know, that's fine. And the guy was like, yeah, but you can possibly face some jail time with this, because this is technically like you shouldn't have done this. And I'm just like, okay, I don't know if that's true or not, but just because the guy was acting like a dick and just not even trying to help, like, I understand, you know, when like customer service kind of thing, like, okay, sometimes people do cry and like they're being dramatic about the situation, but you can clearly see we fucked up, and you can clearly hear me crying, and you're just being a dick. Like, you're not even trying to help, and then you're like $800. Like, that's ridiculous. So he ends up just leaving. We were like, you know what, that's fine. We'll take our chances with calling 911, whatever. So we call 911, and literally their recommendation, call a tow truck. Like, we just did that. So that was great. So there was a moment where me and Sean just looked at each other like, yeah, so what the fuck do we do? Like, because I think at this point it was already an hour that went by, and my organizational clock in my head was just like, yo, we said we would give this truck back at 1 o'clock. It is now 9 o'clock. We haven't moved shit, and we're stuck right now. And the way the truck was facing backwards towards the bushes, we couldn't even try and pack shit in because there was just no room. So we were just completely fucked all around. It was just amazing to feel that sense of like helplessness. Honestly, I can like laugh about it now because it's been like almost 3 weeks of like having to forget that this happened. So I then called U-Haul to see like what they could do. Basically all they could do is just call and get quotes of tow trucks and then let you know like what the quotes would be. But Sean was able to get a hold of another tow truck company. They wanted photos of it. And then, you know, while I called my friend George, and I was just crying, and I was just like, again, just venting. I was really stressed. And he was just like, it's okay, you know, let's figure this out. And he was trying to like look up tools we could get. Sean actually came and got me because I like went back in the house and was like crying. And he got me and he was like, okay, they can do it for $225. And immediately I was even more stressed out because I really, extra money, not including the U-Haul, not including stuff for the move specifically. I had a lot of like $130, but that was more for like, if you know, when we're moved in, we can get like decor stuff and we can get like dinner that night. Like, it was just that extra kind of wiggle room. It wasn't really anything more than that because I did also have bills that would be due like in a few days. So he said that, and even though there was like kind of that saving grace, I still was like crying because I was like, this sucks. I have like 3 bills that are due, and I guess I'm just gonna have to figure it out because we have to get this truck out of here. So Sean was working with the tow truck guy. It took a little bit of time, so I just started loading stuff into my car. I have a SUV, so I just started packing boxes in my car in the interim. So that took about, I think, 25-30 minutes with that guy because the guy was having a problem getting, like, once he pulled it up, it was just the back tires now that were getting stuck. So we left quite a big mud dent all back there. So part of me was just like, this is the present to this property management because you guys suck ass. But it wasn't intentional, obviously. Like, nobody wants to pay $225. Then once I heard the price part of me, the other part of me was, you dumb bitch. You could have just hired movers for $200 and just saved a little extra, and you would have had help. But yeah, the guy was able to get the truck out. So I said, you know what, Sean? We shouldn't even have done this. Like, this was fucking dumb that we thought this would be a good idea. Go ahead and just park at the top of the hill where those 2 flights of stairs are, and we'll just have to do that. Because if we tried to have him put the car back in the street below with that hill going down, the grass is wet. We learned the hard way, the grass is wet. I don't want to slip and bust my ass or get shit muddy like the couch or the bed. So that took about 2 hours. Once we got the guy to come and pull us out, that took 2 hours. It was 2 hours of a process. And I was already emotionally drained, and we hadn't moved one item, and we picked up the truck around 7, I want to say 7:30, and then we took like a little bit of downtime to like eat and everything. So yeah, that took 2 hours. I think it was about 10 or 11, or maybe I'm not really sure the timeline because I forgot. But yes, at that point I had anxiety galore, even more than I have on a daily basis, and immediately I was like, wow, I think we're kind of fucked with this. Like, how are we gonna move all this stuff in like 4 hours, 3 hours? Like, how are we gonna do that? No, I think it was like 2.5 hours. I don't even fucking remember. It was just like a really short period of time, and I was like, this is not gonna fucking happen. But we didn't have a choice. Obviously, we have to move. Like, it's October 1st, we have to move. We started moving, and we did the couch. And again, I am weak as fuck. I couldn't even take the couch on a flat surface towards the back. So now it's lifting it upstairs. Okay, so Sean has an impatience problem as well. Like, when he gets mad, he really kind of like gets mad. And I knew that on moving day, he doesn't have much patience with like things not going the way he wants them to. I knew that he was going to kind of be flipping out on me because I'm his only partner helping with this furniture. I'm not as strong as him. I was gonna maybe need a few moments with heavy stuff where I would need to like put it down for a second. And I also still have my back issue that I'm still going to the chiropractor for, and even though it's better, the pain is still there. So I didn't want to pull anything, but we fought so hard that day that it was the move that clearly was the culprit of why we argued so bad. Every single time it was a heavy item, and we were taking it out of our patio, because inside our building, if you leave your front door, there's another flight of stairs. Then you get to the outside. Then there's the 2 flights of stairs. So we were trying to carve time because our patio faced the parking lot, but it was up a hill. We thought it would make more sense to just go out the patio. So yeah, he was just not having it with me and my weakness. He would just get really mad. I'd have to drop it. I sometimes hit him, or it fell on him or something, because he wouldn't understand, or he wouldn't hear me say like, I have to drop this. Our king size bed for some reason is so fucking heavy. I don't know why it's this heavy. Like, I know king size beds are larger, but this thing weighs like 70, 80, 90 pounds. Like, I'm not even kidding you. So it's hard just to flip it on its side and like push it. Like, it's hard. So to bring it up a hill upstairs with just my weak self and him, he ended up having to like drag it up the hill. Like, we had to put a sheet on the bottom. There's a hill by those stairs. I barely helped. He got so mad and enraged, it was so heavy, that he grabbed the handle of the mattress and just yanked it and was just yanking it up the hill. And I'm going up there too, I feel like, just holding on because I'm not even fucking helpful at this point. And got it on the truck, and I started noticing when stuff got loaded in the truck that we weren't utilizing as much space as we should be in the truck. But we put the couch and the bed first, and then we started moving in all the other stuff, and it was fucking exhausting. Like, we went up those stairs probably like over 100 times. I'm not even exaggerating. Maybe a little. Maybe it felt like 100, but we went up those stairs a lot. A fucking lot. We had 2 desks, a huge ass king bed, a couch, 3 little dresser things. We had the bed frame. We had a computer chair. We had like all the clothes and stuff from the drawers from the bed that we have, there's 4 drawers that go in underneath. So we had those drawers, we had the TV stand, we had the TV, we had our treadmill. There was so many things that we had, a weight bench. So it got to the point where it was like 12:30 and there was no way we were going to be done. So I had to call U-Haul and ask like if we could have more time. And the guy was really nice about it. He was like, you know what, just as long as you bring it in by 6 a.m. the following morning, I won't charge you extra, you're fine. And that was amazingly nice, because he could have just been like, we need an extra this much, and because I just spent $225, because they didn't waste any time swiping my card. The minute Sean gave them, as soon as he was done getting that truck out of the grass and Sean gave my card, bloop, he just swiped that thing. I got the notification like within 2 seconds. So they did not waste any time. So I could not afford more, so I'm really glad that this guy was really, really helpful. And then on top of that, there was a window where Comcast was supposed to come out, because our apartment, and I made this very clear to Comcast, our apartment was new construction. Like, they just renovated all these units and kind of knocked it down and rebuilt it. So there was no cables in the wall. So they would have to come in, and I explained this, full installation, like run the wires through the wall, do all of that. And it was between 10 and 12 was the appointment. Well, it was like 12:30 and they hadn't even called me. So I didn't panic right then. I was like, we're just gonna finish moving first. It'll be okay. Like, you know, it's Friday, or it's Thursday. October 1st is on a Thursday. It's Thursday. I'm definitely gonna call them. You know, the minute we get to the apartment, we should be done in another like 2-3 hours, or maybe like 2 hours. And it should be fine. It's a Thursday, like they should be able to come out. Finished packing. Then me and Sean got into like this explosive fight because he said I was just a horrible guide with the truck, and he could have, like, when the truck was there, I could have like been better at like guiding him so it wouldn't get stuck. It just became like a blame game situation, and then we just got really into it. And clearly it was just because of the stress of the move. Like, we were already spent physically, mentally, with everything. So we got really into it, which delayed us like 20 minutes because we were arguing. And then once we were done, I kept loading up my truck. I kept loading up my car. He kept loading up the truck. And then it got to a point where we're piling stuff in, right? And the shit is heavy. And I thought I did the best I could to organize this truck for what I could personally lift and maneuver around. But Sean also has a tendency of, like, when he's mad, it's like almost 99% my fault. And I don't think, he doesn't do it like maliciously. He just, I'm not really sure. Like, I tell him this all the time. I just think either he wants somebody to blame or he's just venting, and that's why he like mentions me. But definitely that day when he was like putting his bike in the truck and saw what it looked like, he was just like, who puts shit in like this? Like, who organizes like this? Alexis, like, hello, like, why? And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, do you think this is what I want to deal with right now? Like, I fucking did my best. It just, the whole thing was just a fucking nightmare, truly a nightmare. So we got to a point where the truck, just the way that we packed it, was just not going to fit the rest of the stuff. And we didn't have much stuff. We just had like the stuff out of the fridge, which we would get last, and we had like a couple like his computer monitors, his computer, just kind of little things that I could come back and pack in my SUV. So we just made the decision, let's just take all the animals, take the truck, take everything that we have, let's go to the apartment. I'll call the Comcast guy, get him to come out here, you stay at the new apartment, unpack the stuff, and then I will go back to the apartment and finish up. In the car, I'm calling Comcast just to make sure, like, hey, you know, I never got a call, are you guys coming? And I was told, oh, he came and nobody was at the door. And I was like, okay, I thought you guys were calling first because I had said several times that we're moving. And she was like, oh, he said he called the number on file. And I'm like, what number do you have on file? And it was my cell phone. And I had my cell phone tucked in my boob. If you have, the ladies that have big boobs know, you stick your phone in your boob, like in your bra. You just do. Even though I know, like, health reasons, it's not good to do that. But I don't do it all the time. But obviously moving, like, I didn't have pockets in my pants. And boom, it's going right in my boob. So I could hear it. I could feel the vibration. And nobody called me that day, or earlier that day. So at first they were like, we're not going to be able to send anybody out until tomorrow. And I was like, absolutely not. I need my internet and I need my TV. Like, I need it today. So she's like, okay, somebody will come by between 4 and 6, whatever. So I was like, okay, great. I have time to go back to the apartment, wrap everything up or whatever. And my feet at this point, even though I was wearing sneakers, my feet at this point were so sore. And just my legs and my back, and I just couldn't, like, going up the stairs and coming, like, there was the vacuum, there was the carpet cleaner that we have, and I had to, like, carry something separately, and, like, the box of food I had to carry separately, and it was so exhausting. Like, I was just like, why didn't I think about this better? Like, then even, like, I'm thinking, like, why didn't Sean recommend movers? Like, why didn't he push that? Like, why weren't movers pushed into it, you know? So I was just so exhausted. So finally, you know, everything was wrapped up at the apartment. Go back, and then get a call from Sean. And he's like, the cable guy's here. He basically said that he has to run the wire in the back, but he's not going to be able to actually do the full installation, and we won't have internet or TV for 24 to 48 hours. And I was like, that's not fucking happening. So then by the time I got there, the guy had driven away. So I was on the phone, and I was just like, I don't know what's happening, blah, blah, blah. Like, long story short, they were just like, we use a third-party contractor to come do the full installation, so they would have to give you a call, and they probably won't call you within 24 to 48 hours. And even though I was just pushing, like, I have work tomorrow, like, I need this internet and TV. Like, I definitely explained that when I was setting up the move. It didn't matter. They were like, we can't do anything. We just can't do anything. So I was like, this is fucked up. Like, we were able to find a hotspot, thank God, like, where we were. And I was able to log into my Comcast account and actually watch TV through the Comcast app. But I had to, like, pull it up on my computer, cast it on the TV. It was very upsetting. And then also we threw away the old couch we had, because we actually ordered a nice sectional, which came about a week ago. So we were having to put the bed, not build the frame, put the bed in the living room, just sleep there until the couch came. So then I called Saturday to try and get it figured out, trying to expedite it. Never got a call from this third party. Then we spoke with somebody. They said it probably won't be until Monday. So then I was pretty pissed. And then Sean is a gamer, so thank God the hotspot, because he would have not been able to play for days. Then I called Sunday. Then I called Monday. And I spoke, I'm not even between Thursday, up until like Tuesday. We didn't have internet. We didn't have cable. And I spoke to, not even lying to you, 15 different Comcast people who were fucking idiots. And everybody was saying something different. Tuesday, the hotspot was working all the way up to Tuesday. Tuesday, the hotspot wasn't working. Like midday Tuesday, the hotspot kept saying IP address not found or something. And I had to work. So it was like spotty. So off and on, it would be working. Called Comcast. Oh, you know, it's not working because your internet service isn't working, when that's not the fucking point of a hotspot. It was just a whole fucking nightmare. They still had the services working at the old apartment, even though I told them to turn that off. Monday night, when I told them to turn it off, they ended up turning off my cable so I couldn't watch TV through the app, and I need to watch TV. It was just a fucking nightmare. So we got desperate to the point of like going upstairs to our neighbors up there who had their Comcast set up and asking them if we could borrow their fucking Wi-Fi. Like, can you give us, you don't know us, but can you give us your Wi-Fi password and tell us which one's yours so we can use it for a few days? Like, they could have thought we were lying. They could have thought we could do some crazy shit and hack in. Like, they're so much nicer. They did end up giving it to us. They're so much nicer than me, because I don't think I would have been able to be that trusting of a stranger and just give that information, but they did. So we were actually able to, I was able to work, I was able to watch Comcast because they got the whole TV thing situated, but it was still like communicating with so many different people. And after calling Comcast for like the 20th time, still no call from this third party, by the way, no phone call, somebody from Comcast was able to set something up where somebody was going to come out that Saturday and do something with our wiring to get us up and running temporarily or whatever. The guy came out Saturday. He had to put everything in the bedroom, like the router and the cable box. I didn't give a shit. I was like, we will use our Roku in the living room. I could fucking care less. I just want to be able to watch TV and I want to have internet service. So he was able to get everything done, thank God. So we didn't need the third party anymore. And we were finally set up a week and 2 days later. And that was a fucking nightmare. But we got through it. I actually, and I will insert pictures here, that night, Thursday night, when we actually laid down and like, you know, kind of, what's that word? What's the word I'm looking for? We, fuck, I know what word I'm thinking of. We like settled down for the night. I had like really bad bruises on my legs, on my arms, and I don't even remember hitting myself that often or hitting myself really at all. So I feel like that's almost my body telling me like, you're fucking weak. Like, you need to like get your shit together. I don't know if my blood supply was just like fucking drying up. I don't know what happened, but my bruises were like I was getting beat the fuck up. Like, I was getting beat. Like, Sean was beating me. And that's a horrible thing to say, but that's what the bruises looked like. They looked very crazy. So, and then we woke up the next morning on that Friday, and our bodies, like my body felt like I was hit by a fucking Mack truck. Like, I could barely move. I had to stretch a lot. My lower back was just fucked up. When I went to the chiropractor that following Wednesday, he was like, yeah, your hips are like rotated like crazy. Like, and you know, obviously it was because of the move. But yeah, I binged for sure. Like that, I think Thursday night I got a calzone from Seasons Pizza because I freaking love calzones. The following morning, I had the rest of my calzone that I didn't finish. I ordered Krispy Kreme donuts, had McDonald's that night. I didn't give a shit. Like, I am trying to lose weight, but those 2 days, literally, I was telling myself who like wants to lose weight, I was like, fuck you right now. I need this shit and I need to replenish my body and just indulge because this was crazy. But we're finally all moved in. As you can see, I just got this background with lights. I think it's really cute. It definitely is way better than my fucking creasy ass white background from last video. We have our sectional in, we have our bed frame made, everything's up. This past weekend, my sister came over, helped us kind of put the final decor touches on everything because she kind of likes doing that. And sectional came last week, so everything is pretty much together. Just have to get a couple like more decorative things, but that was the moving experience from hell. So I give you the advice that if you are looking to move, please, if you don't have a whole bunch of family and friends and they could not help us because it was a weekday and everybody was working, if you don't have people that can come help you move, please, please, please save yourself your life and your body and hire movers, because you will be so much happier with how you feel if you just spend that extra money, get the movers, and I guarantee you next time we move, I will make sure I save enough money to have fucking 6 movers come. I will not be touching a goddamn thing unless it's to pick up a couple boxes to put in my car. This experience was just the worst ever. So I just wanted to share that amazing story time with you guys, because it's definitely unique. Like, I've never really heard this many bad fucking things happen, like with the move, you know, consecutively back to back. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my story time. If you're still with me during my story time, thank you. And I hope you found this entertaining. Like, learn from my mistakes, people. Like, do not be naive. Yeah, that's all I have today. So if you liked my story time, hit the thumbs up, comment down below, let me know what your worst moving story is. Like, maybe you have something worse than me, I don't know, but let me know. I would love to hear it, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.